Did Pharrell just diss Drake on a song for a children's movie? Song for the Despicable Me 4 soundtrack. Yes, this is real life right now. Pharrell said, "Some of your dirt has come to light. Lie detector time. Hey, what are you hiding? Nothing wrong being private. Make sure it ain't wrong." Now, if you heard any of Kendrick's songs during the battle, you would know that certain things did get mentioned in those songs were pretty disturbing. Now, whether or not all of it's true, that's for another video. But why in the world are Pharrell and Drake beefing? Pharrell seems like he's just taking care of his skin, using his Cetaphil lotion, making beats, and looking younger every year. I mean, check out his evolution over time. Looks the same. This could be a 30-minute video, so let's break it down as quickly as possible. Going back to 2002. Now, at first, this beef had nothing to do with Pharrell and Drake, but it did have to do with Drake's old boss, Birdman. Now, on the Neptune's website, it's a fan site, there's an amazing piece here that I don't know if this is 100% true. We do know that Drake was a big Neptunes and Clips fan, but apparently Drake early on was in forums. He must have been like a teenager at this point, trying to get love in the forum on the Neptune site. And apparently he would get mocked and people would make fun of his pictures and started clowning him, and he held a little bit of animosity to it. But that's part of the rumor mill. Pharrell and the Neptunes produced this song, What Happened to That Boy, for Birdman with the Clips, but Pharrell never got his payment, so clearly after that, things went downhill. Now keep in mind, Pharrell is not the first person that has accused Birdman of not paying him. Then there's Billionaire Boys Club, which is Pharrell's clothing company. When Lil Wayne, who's Birdman's artist, was coming up, allegedly he asked Pharrell to send over some Billionaire Boys Club for one of his video shoots. Now Pharrell, holding on to a little animosity of not being paid from Birdman, did not send over the clothing, but Wayne went and got his own and wore it in the video. Then this led to this Vibe magazine cover where Wayne was wearing Bape. Now at the time, Clips, who were working heavily with Pharrell, they were rocking a lot of Bape. That led to them dropping the song Mr. Me Too, produced by the Neptunes, basically calling Wayne a copycat. That sounds like we're talking about like a kindergarten fight, calling someone a copycat, but basically accusing him of jacking their whole swag. Wayne replied to this, "Talk to me like you're talking to the best. I don't see no effing Clips. Wheezy man, they had to do a song with us to get hot B. What happened to that boy? Come on B," referring to the song from before with Birdman. He said, "Who the F is Pharrell? Do you really respect him? That dude wore Bapes and y'all thought he was weird. I wore it and y'all thought it was hot." Pharrell was always rocking Bape, and keep in mind this necklace because we're gonna get back to that. Pusha T then inherited the beef towards Wayne and the lineage from Birdman and went to their new artist, Drake. Drake had just come off his sophomore album with Take Care, and Push rapped over the Dreams Money Can Buy instrumental, which Drake just dropped, and said, "Rappers on their sophomores acting like they boss lords. Fame's such a funny thing for sure when dudes start believing all them encores." So now we have a lineage beef, which is mentioned in Pusha T's Exodus 23:1, where he basically says that Drake is a dude who signed to a dude who signed to another dude, saying that the money is not coming down to him properly, and basically calls out the whole label structure of Cash Money, which goes at Wayne, Birdman, and Drake. Now, I didn't know this, but apparently, at the time, Pusha was also shooting at Drake here on his HGTV freestyle. He says it's too far gone when the realest ain't real, referencing Drake's So Far Gone. Walk amongst the clouds so your ceilings ain't real. These dudes Call of Duty because their killings ain't real, referring to what Drake was talking about on Headlines. The questionable pen so the feeling ain't real. At this point, this is early, but he's calling out knowing that Drake doesn't write all his stuff, which Kendrick also referred to around the same time, saying a rapper with a ghostwriter, what the fuck happened? Drake kind of responds to that, and I didn't realize at the time that he was shooting at Pusha, but I see how this makes sense. As a reply on Tuscan Leather, the intro to Nothing Was the Same, he says, "I'm just as famous as my mentor, but that's still the boss. Don't get sent for, get hype on tracks and jump in front of a bullet you wasn't meant for." Basically telling Pusha, if you're shooting at Wayne, you're shooting at me, and you might actually get hit with some shots on records. Which happened shortly after with Two Birds, One Stone, where he was aiming at Cudi and Pusha. I personally think this was Drake's best diss towards Pusha because he called into question Pusha's whole image, which Push was trying to do to Drake, by saying, really, it's you with all the drug dealer stories that's got to stop, though. You made a couple chops, and now you think you Chapo. You middleman-ish. You was never them guys. I can tell because I look most of you dead in your eyes, and you'll be trying to sell that story for the rest of your lives. Basically saying that Push may not have been the gangster drug dealer that he's been talking about, and he might have just been dealing on the low, which called into question his image. Now, there's a whole storyline with Drake and Pusha T that most of you guys probably know, and if you don't, I can make a whole video about that, but it deserves a video on itself because there's a lot there. So I'm gonna skip forward to get to this Pharrell thing. So Rick Ross had this song, Maybach Music, which is part of his series, and he actually apparently had a Wayne verse and a Pusha T verse, basically closing the loop on that beef. But on the verse, allegedly Pusha was throwing shots at Wayne and Drake, so it didn't make the final version. Now, Drake and Pharrell at this point don't really have huge issues to my knowledge. He even jumped on the remix to this Rihanna song produced by Pharrell, which is maybe another moment where Drake was just trying to steal Rihanna's shine if you look at what he did on the MTV Awards and with all the billboards. And they had worked together on songs. There was them working for Diddy's Dirty Money and a song that never made Thank Me Later, and they worked on a song with Wayne. So it seemed like things were kind of cool between those parties. But then on Meltdown, Drake kind of went all out and took shots not only at Pusha, but at Pharrell. This came after Pusha T and his brother were walking during Pharrell's Louis Vuitton show. And on Travis Scott's Meltdown, Drake takes shots at Push, but also at Pharrell, saying, man, F all that spin in the narrative. I melt down the chains that I bought from your boss. Basically going at Pusha, and the boss he's calling Pharrell, give an F about all that heritage shit. Since V not around, the members done hung up the Louis. They not even wearing that shit, which is a clear shot of Pharrell taking over for Virgil, who's V in this case, at Louis Vuitton. Now, Drake bought, there's a $2 million chain, there's a $100,000 chain, another $150,000 chain, another $150,000 chain. It was like almost $3 million worth of jewelry. You can see here he has all three of these chains. Remember the chain I showed you before? He's wearing it right here. Then Kendrick, during the Drake beef, drops Euphoria, and he basically says, I'm gonna inherit the beef for Pharrell on behalf of the culture. He says, I don't like you popping shit at Pharrell. For him, I inherit the F all that pushing P. Let me see you push a T. You better off spinning again on him. You think about pushing me? Then Drake replies in the video, going back to the Chinese spot that Kendrick referenced on Euphoria, and said, then come get his legacy out of my house. And the owner of that Chinese restaurant is just repping all of Pharrell's chains, basically making a mockery of it and saying, yeah, I'm doing whatever I want with these chains. It could have all been so nice. That's when we get back to the Despicable Me line. And after the Kendrick-Drake beef happened and unanimously, well, maybe not unanimously because there's going to be people in the comments that say Drake won, but semi-unanimously, Kendrick wins this battle. And it seems like Pharrell does a little victory lap, okay? Not only in the scene is he driving a car in the movie, but he's talking about Drake's secrets. Maybe you should stay more private. Maybe you should be more quiet like me and stay in your lane because it seems like some shit's about to come out about you. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you want to know more about this relationship? Do you want to know more about Pusha T and Drake? What do you want me to cover in the next video? And do you think we'll hear a Drake slick bar in his next album at Pharrell? Is Pharrell going to say anything else? Or are they going to leave it here? And this is just kind of going to be a forever beef between Cash Money and the Neptunes and Clips and Birdman and Lil Wayne and Pusha T and Drake. Anyways, if nobody else told you yet today, I appreciate you and thank you for watching. Peace.